talk about skin health issues. Now, I've done some live streams about skin aging and how to reduce that process, and certainly you can do that. But it has a lot to do with your past, your background, genetics, environmental issues. So a little bit of this potentially might be, I don't want to say a rehash, but some of it might be a little bit of a repeat of that. But we're going to take a little different spin today, a little different twist. And a little different twist is to understand how all these different areas interact, whether it be diet, whether it be environmental, what about chemicals, what about inflammation, but how can we truly improve skin health? And we're going to introduce to you some technologies that we have, some laser types of equipment in using intense pulse light that you can utilize topically, that is documented by some research that appeared in a Stanford, at Stanford University, appeared in some medical journals about how the rejuvenation of gene expression pattern of aged human skin by using broadband light treatment. It was a pilot study, so broadband light treatment is now utilizing something topically. Now, certainly we could have facelifts and we can do Botox injections and so on, but what about naturally attempting to reduce the damages and the ravages of sun and photoaging and environmental and inflammation, but then also utilizing a technique, correct forms of laser. We have a little demo that we're going to replay for you at the midpoint of the break, at our break today. So I want to just kind of present to you once again skin issues. What is going on? Why does our skin age so prematurely? How can we keep it from aging so fast? And you say, well, look, I'm 58 years old personally. And some of you might be watching saying, well, I'm 62 or I'm 52. Or it's already done. No, actually, this is saying that you can legitimately reverse, and I'll read you some of the key components. Hopefully I've highlighted them here. That you can rejuvenate that skin. But it also comes down to the basics of what you do and what both of us do on a daily basis. So what I'm going to do before we get there, I'm going to read you Proverbs 14:12, I believe it is. There is a way which seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. There's a way that seems right unto me. There's a way that seems right unto us many times. It says, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Because too often, you and I, speaking to myself here, I rationalize my decisions. It could be a wrong decision. It could be a wrong thought. It actually can be embedded in sin. And I, as a human being, I can rationalize all the mechanisms and the components of why it's okay. But the reality of it is we're deluding ourselves. It's self-delusional. And we can often talk ourselves into something that is wrong and justifying it as being right. And that's where the Bible talks about that only the shedding of the light of the wisdom of God by reading the Bible, not by going to some religious ceremony, not by doing some rote mechanisms over and over, or going to church once or twice a year, whether it's on an Easter, or it's Christmas, or it's a Jewish holiday. You don't just go to church on that day. No, see, that it's not about that day. It's not about just that commemoration of that specific point. It's about a heart change. It is about relationship with Him on a daily basis. Just been reading a lot lately, an old book done by Lawrence. I don't even know the guy's last name, known as Brother Lawrence. This occurred 300 years ago, just practicing the presence of God. Wrote this book years and years and years ago. Just amazing about a continual awareness of God, but ultimately it comes from being exposed to the Word of God. Why? Because the Bible teaches us that the Word of God changes us. It changes our thought pattern. It changes our thoughts, period. It gives us wisdom about decisions. Why would we need that? Because the Proverbs is very specific. There's a way which seems right to me, to a man. I think I'm right. I'm perfectly justified in the decisions that I make and the components of that decision. But the end thereof are the ways, unfortunately, of death. All right, make sure that if you get a moment, you take a look and you review some of the past live streams that we've done. We've got tons of them. You've got GI problems, we have a live stream. You've got headaches and migraines or a family member, we have a live stream for that. I don't know, we've been doing them for months now. I mean, we've been doing them literally almost continuously for about 7 or 8 months. We've only missed 2 or 3 Saturdays in that entire time. Today, right now, as you're viewing today, it's live. Someone's going to be watching this later on today, tomorrow. Obviously, it's not live. We have all of them loaded. They're embedded up on our website. Make sure you take a look. Aging of your skin. Approaches. I don't even want to talk about that. That's not really what I'm after here today. Approaches to skin health. Well, to me, it starts with your diet. So I'm going to go back. This is regurgitation of some past information. I guess I'm over here. Diet. If I eat a ton of sugar and I eat a ton of fats, and I eat a diet that is high in rancid types of fats, and I consume a lot of foods that are not life-giving to repair and to my cells, I will encourage damage to the skin. Then when I'm exposed to things like sun, and I don't have enough antioxidants on board, my skin will become photo-aged or be damaged by the melanin conversion from a lot of direct sunlight. Let me clarify. I do not believe that sun is inherently a bad thing for your skin long term when it's used, the exposure that is in moderation. Where we get into trouble is because we don't understand moderation. We go out and worship the sun. We're out there for hours at a time. You will certainly damage that skin. But understand that what you consume, and what would I say here? I would say more of like a Mediterranean style diet, if I could say, has shown very positive benefits to the skin. Mediterranean, because why? What would the Mediterranean style diet incorporate? What would be the key components of that? Well, there's a tremendous amount of good fats and good oils. Olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, fish. You should be taking omega-3s, the omega-800s. You should be on quality supplementation, of which I've covered in past live streams. I'll touch on them very, very quickly. Understand that environmental, chemicals, things that we consume will show up in your skin. If I have poor intestinal health, the radio broadcast today, we talked about hives. A couple of questions came up about skin conditions. It's related to your gastrointestinal health. We have a live stream on leaky gut. It also will cause a diminishment of health of your skin. What does leaky gut does? Absolutely. It damages other organs. It can damage your joints and your skeletal muscle system. It can create inflammation in the body. You think it doesn't create inflammation in your skin? Absolutely. So we've got to know that diet, that there are environmental issues. Topical chemicals. Way too many women, obviously, in particular, unless you're using makeup as a guy. I don't. But I have a little bit of powder on today, so I take away that oily, greasy skin of mine. But powder. Did I say powder? It's powder, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. I'm asking the wrong guy. You need to understand here that a lot of harsh chemicals that you use from a makeup standpoint damage your skin, and why we want to make sure that you use components, why the RX skin therapy line, and why we're even going to come out with a few other scenarios on this line. You want as many natural components, natural protective ingredients, things like niacinamide, all the natural ingredients that help to promote health, healing, stimulate collagen, reduce inflammation, buffered vitamin C orally. All this plays a role. Inflammation is critical. Inflammation from our diet, a poor diet, and also chemicals and lack of antioxidants. We talked about photoaging. Should I never go in the sun? I don't believe that's necessary. I believe that they should be limited. Your exposure should be limited to the sun time-wise, 20, 30 minutes at a time, not extended periods of time. Get out of the sun so that it doesn't continue, those rays don't continue to damage the skin. Now, also, can we talk about this real quickly, that if we look at layers of the skin and then we put sunscreens on top, And what you're finding now is that even though you may block at the surface those UV, I was getting confused, the UVA rays, I think. I guess I should have had that under wraps before I mentioned it to you. But what we're finding is that now there are literally deeper layers of penetration even when using sunscreen. So don't think that sunscreens are completely your answer. That the other rays emitted by the sun can actually penetrate at deeper layers and still damage your skin at deeper layers. Hormones, changes, drops, decline in hormones play a key role. When our hormones begin to drop, our human growth hormone drops as we physically, chronologically age. The process of aging of the skin, not only just aging, maintenance of skin health diminishes. Collagen is a huge component. Collagen must be restored. How do you do that? Through the diet, through adequate buffered C ascorbates. We can use good forms of hyaluronic acid topically and orally by mouth. And also here is where we'll talk a little bit today about laser approaches. Now, why would I talk about lasers here? Because lasers are documented, if you use the right one, intense pulse light, BBL, broadband light types of lasers. What it literally does, and maybe we're going to hold maybe after the break to go into a little more detail. I know that I want to go into a ton of detail, but there's two aspects, two types of lasers that can be used, and we have two here in our office. And the one is we use more for hair removal, because there's a lot of different mechanisms for how women attempt to remove hair from their face. I believe it's rooted in hormonal dysregulation. So for a young girl, as we're in our teens and our 20s or whatever, there are issues of rising testosterone, dropping progesterone levels, and in some cases rising estrogen levels that really precipitate and cause a rise in hair growth on the face and sometimes loss of hair on the scalp. But women grow more hair on their face because of this hormone dysregulation. So if you think that you can just do a laser hair removal and not deal with the hormonal aspect of this, that's a huge mistake. So what we're going to encourage you to do is to do a saliva panel, understand that possibly at some of this, at a root level, that there's hormone dysregulation in women. That is the reason for significant hair growth facially in women. This is not supposed to be a common occurrence. There are obviously some to some degree, but when it's a major issue, we need to deal with the hormonal aspect of this. Now, certainly, we want to talk to you about utilizing, we have, for example, a Gentle Laze Pro, which is really the state-of-the-art component as to how you can remove hair. Now, folks do waxes and creams and things that they apply, but you really, with repeated exposures, we use a particular product called, as I just mentioned, a Gentle Laze Pro. All right, and the manufacturer of that particular product is, I believe, Syneron, Candela. And if you just look up some literature, Syneron Candela in the hair removal, quote, industry does an amazing job. This is probably the state-of-the-art product. Now, you work at removing the hair, and I don't want to get into the details of that because that's not really my thrust here, but you can do that. I think anything other than using the correct forms of lasers, which are termed intense pulse light or broadband light, this is what we use to do that, it's amazing. We have two of these units right in our offices. But by the same token, if we don't deal with the hormonal aspects of this, see, you are not dealing with the root, because that encourages a recurrence years down the line. So when I do the Gentle Laze Pro, no matter how high the quality, I might have to go through a couple treatments to diminish because you have continued hair growth down at a deeper, at a root level, and you've got to continue to literally damage that hair, the follicle structure. What we're looking at, though, is if I have hormonal dysregulation, so this is not just about aging of your skin, this is really about skin health, as I kind of titled at the top. Do I want my skin, for as long as I'm here, looking as reasonably healthy as I possibly can have it? I would like to, and I'm sure many of you would like to. Is my skin going to become wrinkled over time? Well, of course it is, because there is an aging process that I can't change, that you can't change. But am I understanding the underlying components of what I consume, how I sleep, the issues of inflammation because of harsh chemicals that I use? Am I using correct treatments that help to rebuild? Am I helping to stimulate collagen? And when we come back, we're going to go to a break in a minute here, and we're going to play that little segment. It's about a 6-minute segment on a demonstration on the use of this laser. I'm going to come back and then talk to you a little bit more, not real specific, not real detailed, because I don't want to do that, but how then you can utilize lasers literally to stimulate collagen repair that actually can deal with fine lines and wrinkles, that you literally begin to change the genetic expression. You literally can make skin that is of a certain age, mine at 58 years of age, that by the use of intense pulse light, this is not an opinion, I will give you the recommendations and where this comes from, that by the use of the correct forms of lasers, and now what you do is you can literally change the genetic expression of skin that is literally on the calendar 58 years of age, and you begin to make it, I can't give you an age frame, but you make it go back to a 30, 40-something year old age where there's literally a more youthful and healthful appearance. Now, they've done this and documented the changes in genetic expression in animals. Well, this recent one done 5-6 years ago was done at Stanford University. So we're going to teach you about that. We'll come back and then maybe give you a little bit of an overview of the basics of what you should still be doing about your skin, the process of maintaining skin health. It is certainly a function of, again, your eating habits, how you sleep, actually what you consume, the lack of antioxidants, quality supplementation that many of you just haven't gotten a grip on. And then what's the next layer? The next layer is, if I'm having a lot of skin problems, has it a root in hormonal imbalances? Absolutely, with severe depletion or imbalances that then cause a lot of facial hair growth, but at that root, it is causing dysfunction from a skin standpoint. Now, what can I do topically with laser treatments, qualified personnel to do that, and then continue to support it by rebalancing hormones and understanding my diet and antioxidants and supplementation. So we'll tie this together. We're going to slip away to that little 5-6 minute segment. You need to watch it. You'll learn something. Then we'll come back and we'll kind of wrap it for you today. Stay with us.
Here we are. We're live again. We're in the office that we have the laser therapy set up. And again, I'm joined by Cindy Hatfield, customer, employee, the whole 9 yards. We got her back in here. She's going to brief you a little bit on the laser treatment. So I'm just going to start off first by asking you, what's the laser therapy all about? What type of person is the best type of candidate for this?
Candidate, as we're going to do a demo on, actually is dark hair and light skin. So as we roll along with that, we'll give you more of the details on how many treatments are needed. Mm-hmm. But the key is our piece of equipment. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the camera can see this over here. Actually, it's your top-of-the-line Alexandrite laser, which is key to know that this is, again, your gold standard for hair removal. But again, the best candidate, light skin, dark hair. So we're encouraging you to come in if you have questions, to have your consultation. So we're going to get our demo started. Okay?
Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Shut step out.
Have Mary.
Just hang right there. All right. So what's going on?
What we're doing, dear, is we're going to make sure she's a good candidate, Dante.
Okay.
Light skin, dark hair.
Light skin, dark hair, Mary fits the profile.
After we go through a thorough health history, that's very important as far
Okay.
as the consultation. We're very thorough here.
Okay.
There's certain things that we look for, certain medications you cannot be on to have laser hair removal. So we're very thorough. We go over that detailed information, and we'd like to do a test spot, again, making sure there's no reaction.
Right.
And then we're going to do the actual treatment.
All right.
Okay?
Perfect. Let Cindy get to work.
So you have to have your glasses.
Uh-oh. Thank you.
Make sure you get like the mic, you have to move maybe closer to her to get the mic so as you can hear what she's saying.
All right.
So we have to wipe off the makeup, right?
Okay, so she's taking off the makeup here.
And this time of year, it's really crucial that the clients are not sun-tanned.
Okay.
Again, when they come in for their consultation, we go over all that with
Okay.
them. You have to remove all makeup.
I've been treated before, so I have not been in the sun, so I'm aware of that.
Very
Okay.
good. All right. Now it's time for the shields to protect the eyes. Up here. Okay. All righty. Protective eyewear is crucial.
Should I take my earrings off?
No, you're fine. But again, in this industry, very important, Dante, that the company actually has a real laser. I think it's very interesting for your people that are watching to
Right.
realize that lasers are unregulated in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
That's key.
Okay.
We have, again, the state of the art, an actual real laser in Alexandrite. Very few companies in Pittsburgh have this type of equipment.
Interesting.
Okay?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Top
it's-
of the line equipment. It's safe. It's
Yes.
stuff we're very comfortable using.
Yes.
Very comfortable using.
So we're just going to do a little demo. I'm going to turn toward you. 1, 2, 3. You all right, dear?
Yep.
Very good. She's reacting perfectly. We're going to complete the upper lip. It's very quick. There's just minimal, just a little bit of a sting.
It's followed by that quick coolant, which helps.
Yes. And it's that simple. Quick and easy. She did great. All right. And a lot of men are requesting this service too, Dante.
Huh.
Their necks, their backs.
Yeah.
We get
My
a
dad
lot.
does.
Yeah, we get a lot of requests for that. They don't want to shave. Their necks are irritated. They're
Yeah.
getting ingrowns. The back of their neck, that's a huge area that men are. The ear hair, back hair, chest hair.
Yep.
So
So it's not just
what
for the
side would
ladies.
Be able to offer
Yep.
that? Oh, there you go.
Chest hair, the whole anything.
So she did great, and I would just check and make sure, her
What
skin
do
was
I need to
all right.
worry about like after treatment?
Well,
What's,
you
like,
have to use a good sunscreen, which we do compound here.
Okay.
We want her to stay out of the sun. We don't want her building a tan, all right,
Okay.
or I won't be able to laser her again. So that's very key, again, this time of year to protect her skin. We don't
Okay.
want her building a dark tan.
But
So-
for the most part, you go home, you can put your makeup back on. It's
Yes.
10 minutes to do it, and you're done. It's amazing.
Pretty painless.
Painless. There's no post. You can't. You're not worried about going back to work.
Right.
You can put your makeup back on and go on with your day. It's something you
Yes.
can do in your lunch break, which is
And
nice.
treatments are every 4 to 6 weeks. We go over that with the consultation.
Okay.
A minimum of 5 is always your norm.
Okay.
And then, different women with different hormone problems, especially with the excessive facial hair with PCOS, that's why we're excited with Joe to incorporate the hormone end of our business, which makes us very unique. I've been doing hair removal for 16 years. The main problem with the facial hair on women is the hormone imbalance. And I've been waiting forever for a company like this because I refer women constantly to get their hormones checked. It's crucial, Dante. So that's what we really want to incorporate here.
Thank you for staying with us. Just a quick little overview, as you just saw, about like hair removal and just some basic things on the Candela Gentle Laze Pro and how that can help with that unwanted hair for women. He even talked about guys. I've had it done to my face to reduce the amount of hair on my face. Now, why would I do that? shaving. I have to do it all the time, so I've done those treatments. I've actually even had the Cyton treatment, which I'll discuss in a moment. I've had multiples of that for age spots, for firming up of the skin. Now, obviously, as you get a little older like myself, there's, I don't want to say less benefit, but it takes longer to rejuvenate that skin. So if you're doing this at 40, it's significantly different than doing it at 55 or 58 years of age. Nonetheless, there's some huge benefits. But again, I want to tie this all in. The options today are for many of you to have surgical procedures, and certainly if you have huge, unfortunate wrinkles or there's tremendous sagging of the skin, that's a whole nother area. That's out of our area of expertise. What I'm all about is maintaining that collagen structure, and you have to supplement correctly. You've got to be on the ascorbates. You've got to be on a good form, absorbable form of our hyaluronic acid, the buffered vitamin C. You want to stimulate the body to repair and build collagen. But when we come back here, I'm going to go over real quick that by coming here, you're going to see that this intense pulse light, this broadband light, what you're doing is you're literally heating layers of the skin. So today, this is a little bit out of the, we're out of the normal aspects of what I talk about. I've talked to you about leaky gut. I talked to you about headaches and about how to manage that. So we have all, those are coming. There's more of those coming. And next week, we'll be right back to it. But, let's face it, who of us is not somewhat conscious of our appearance facially? And many times age spots because of accumulation of sun damage, changes in pigmentation, excessive fine lines and wrinkling just because of the aging process. Can I, through diet, through adequate sleep, managing stress hormones, balancing hormones, and quality protective types of agents that you put onto your skin, be careful about what you put on, why we have RX skin therapy, why you've got to reduce inflammation, why we use niacinamide in those preps and a number of other nutrients. Why? To reduce the inflammatory process so that what? You don't speed up the aging process, so that you don't speed up the degradation process. And ultimately, what you want to do is to be able to stimulate collagen production. Because collagen, as I've taught you in past teachings, literally that collagen, so for example, if we have, we have cell layers, you've got this epidermal, dermal layers, you have the media, you have the internal layers, and then you have a collagen matrix that literally gives structural support. So you don't just have these cells floating out in limbo. You have them on a basement. It's almost like a foundation. That foundation is collagen. That's what gives the skin structural support, elasticity, and the ability to maintain a level of firmness. So what am I doing? What am I doing with this? What do these lasers do? Well, these lasers literally heat the upper layers. It literally heats the layers of your skin with an intense, you just heard, I don't want to go over all the demo. It cools it initially with some cryogen. An intense pulse light, an incredible amount of light that is distributed. It literally creates low level, I hate to use the word, but damage to that skin, literally, by heating it. By heating it, what it does is it's in nanoseconds, it stimulates collagen production. Hence, when you have these treatments done, it literally then begins to, over a period of time, give the cell structure at a cellular level, and then corporately your skin appearance, a healthier, more dynamic, smoother, more youthful. It kind of moves you back in time, so to speak, a more youthful appearance. So by stimulating collagen production, you will encourage firmness. There'll be more of a skin firming. There'll be a greater vibrance to the skin. It's a healthier tone, a healthier color and appearance. Is this somehow miraculous? No, this is literally a process by literally changing the skin structure. Now, why would I say that? Well, let me read this to you. This is an article that was done, Journal of Investigative Dermatology. This appeared, actually, I thought it was 5 years ago. It was August 12th, August 2012, August 30th, Journal of Investigative Dermatology, looking at components like, does this approach really work? Now, you know my approach is, I've got to get you doing the good things. I've got to get you from a dietary standpoint. I've got to get you protecting the skin. I've got to have you feeding your skin internally by more of a Mediterranean style diet, a lot of colors, a lot of antioxidants, quality oils, sleeping well, cut back on the sugar, cut back on the deep fried and the rancid fats because it's damaging and aging your skin. But then we got to remember there's external, there's chemicals that you put on, there's excessive sunlight that is damaging permanently, unfortunately, unless you start to reverse it with some of these components. See, I can't just with antioxidants and nutrients reverse all that photo aging that comes from the sun from way back when. So what I'm doing here, when I literally incorporate this process, I'm changing the genetic expression. I can't read you this whole article, but I'm just going to read you some of the key points. Hence, BBL treatment, broadband light. BBL treatment can restore gene expression patterns of photo-aged skin. That means aged skin from the sun and intrinsically aged. In other words, the natural aging process, 58 years of age, there's an aging process. I'm not 18 anymore. So what you've done to damage externally and then how the natural process of aging, it's saying it turns them both around, literally. Hence, BBL treatment can restore gene expression patterns of photo-aged and intrinsically aged human skin to resemble young skin. I'm just going to go through and just read you some of these. They use words like its ability to rejuvenate the skin. Absorb, they used the broadband light waves, the components of the skin. The procedures are used to decrease the appearance of fine rhytides, dyspigmentation, erythema or redness, elastosis. Rejuvenation is a term used by many investigators, and the lay public has different understandings and different meanings. Thus, we carefully define. We define rejuvenation as restoration of characteristics of youthfulness to aged cells and tissues. So literally, what this is saying it's able to do is literally reverse the aging process of your skin. BBL treatment is in skin truly rejuvenated at a molecular level, at a cellular level. It doesn't somehow en masse put something on your skin that artificially changes it. And even if you are doing other types of treatments or you're putting other chemicals on your face, those are temporary. What these lasers, intense pulse light, broadband light, it literally is changing, you heard me, at a molecular level. Let me just pull out a couple other quick phrases that I believe that I highlighted here for you. There's actual pictorials, literal pictorials of changes even on the arm of aged, photo-aged skin and how the process, so they have this at a microscopic level, the fine wrinkles, coarse wrinkles, abnormal pigmentation, global assessment, what happened, untreated versus treated skins. Now, I know that you might not be able to see that, but this is a medical journal written up in a medical, it was reviewed, it's peer-reviewed. It says in the forearm, after BBL treatments, reduced fine line wrinkling, reduced hyperpigmentation, erythema means redness and irritation to the skin. The pigmentation issues are improved. It also goes on to say before the treatment, elastosis is prominent, meaning there's a loss of elasticity. After treatment, elastosis or loss of elasticity is less distinct than the original magnification. Before the treatment, collagen fibers, when I told you that it stimulates collagen, appears attenuated and disordered. In other words, attenuated, held back, and disordered. The collagen fibers are basically all kind of intermeshed They're disoriented. They're not functioning in a consistent pattern and formality. After the treatment, collagen fibers are more uniform under magnification. Gene expression at the gene expressed level in age-treated skin was closer to young untreated skin than aged untreated skin. Now, I have a lot of information just all throughout here. Bottom line is there's a way to reduce fine lines and wrinkles. There's a way to reduce hair, especially in women that are growing excessive facial hair. Now, you can certainly do that in other parts of the body. Also understand that when we do this, when you use intense pulse light therapies, the only reason why I'm talking about this today, if you would please understand, because this is legitimate. This is a legitimate process. This is not something that's artificial. What I'm after all of you when we talk about how you eat and how you sleep and how you supplement, literally changing expression in the body of negative components of where your body might be migrating to, how we want to try to change that process with key nutrients and supplements. This is a mirror image, literally, of something done externally. So what can it help? Freckles, age spots, even vascular lesion, low levels and types of acne. I mean, you can use these. That would be a longer process, and you'd have to be really persistent, but you can help even acne situations. Without question, skin firmness improves that. You just heard it in the study from Stanford. Uneven skin textures help. Obviously, unwanted hair. And as you know, what I've talked about, you've got to have the best. And literally what we have in our offices are the best. And so today might sound like a marketing promo. It is not. I use it. Many of my staff use this. But I'm also doing all the other things that we talk about from a dietary standpoint, trying to mitigate some of the aging processes of the skin. Once again, if you don't sleep well, you have a problem. Your hormones are hugely imbalanced, you have a problem. You're using a lot of harsh chemicals, we're going to have difficulties. We're not reducing inflammation internally via the diet and supplement, and we're not being careful about what we're applying, and I'm producing more inflammation. Inflammation breaks down the collagen fibers. It causes that disoriented collagen matrix. Notice that after the broadband light treatments, it began to have a more uniform consistency. It reordered, literally brings back to life, and then stimulates the body's natural mechanism to make more collagen. On top of that, then you've got to have nutrients that certainly help you with that. Now, a lot of the details on the nutrients I don't want to re-go over today. We have that on another live stream that's just, just skin aging. We have one of just aging of the skin. Today, this was just about improving overall the texture, the quality. What are we after? Remember that aging of the skin, there are internal, there are intrinsic issues, there are some genetic factors, there are extrinsic, there are external factors. Those you have a significant control over. In specifics, in the other live stream, we talked about resveratrol, we talked about omegas and essential fatty acids, we talked about pycnogenol, about buffered C, and literally, believe it or not, even vitamin D, about vitamin A, how these nutrients can literally change the expression, encourage replenishment, and literally reduce the aging process, slow down that aging process to your skin cells. So certainly, this is not Hollywood 101. That's not what this was meant to be. This is not to, I'm 97 and I want to have the skin of a 17-year-old. That's obviously not just going to happen. What we're after here is how you can help yourself in some very fundamental ways to improve your skin health and texture. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed the live stream today. So I would hope that you take some of this to heart. There's some wonderful components here. If you want more details and more information, I mean, you may be able to go to our website. I know that we have a ton of information up there. Or we have Oakmont Laser, I believe. if you want more information on some details about this and about what you could do, oakmontlaser.com. I think we have some links on our current website. But remember, your skin and the aging of your skin is very, very much dependent upon your ability to take care of your skin, for you not to encourage the breakdown and the degradation process. And it's multifactorial. Internally, our own gene expression, our own natural gene process, and then what we do over the course of our lifetime. God bless you. Thanks for being with us. Next week, I'm not real sure what the next live stream will be. I always say I'm sure we'll come up with something. We'll kind of go back to a little more of a traditional approach of what we normally cover. So yeah, absolutely. We'll be sending out a little notification via email as to what the topic will be. Stay tuned. Go back and take a look at some of those old ones. I'll tell you, the last one we did on the leaky gut, I know, first of all, is something that you need to view. And again, it affects your skin, amongst other things. You need to go back and view it if you're battling literally anything from headaches, migraines, joint problems, hives, eczemas, acne, psoriasis. I'm not saying that it's caused by this. I'm saying in that live stream that any compromise here, it opens the door to dysfunction in multiple sites, and why we should be extremely protective about gastrointestinal health and integrity. God bless you. Thanks for being with us. I'll see you on the next live stream. Have a blessed day.